Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is October 20th, 2020. How you guys doing? I want to talk about the Monday Night Football game and how it's connected to the Donald Trump rally today in Arizona. It's just more mockery for the sheep. Just want to wait for a few more people to join us so we can get started with the presentation. Hopefully the audio is good. Alright, so looks like a lot of you are still sleeping, so I guess we can get started with just 9 people. Okay, so today Donald Trump was in Prescott, Arizona. The same day that the Dallas Cowboys were playing the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL during Monday Night Football. I mean, think about the odds of that, right? So the president is in Prescott, Arizona, and in Monday Night Football, we have the Cowboys facing off against the Cardinals. You know, the Cowboys is the team that Dak Prescott plays for, and they was playing against the Arizona Cardinals, right? The same day as this rally in Prescott, Arizona. I mean, just those two things happen on the same day. It's like, wow, that should be eye-opening by itself. But if you guys saw the game, the Arizona Cardinals won 38-10. On Patreon, I told everybody that the Arizona Cardinals was going to win today. Even though there was a slight narrative for the Cowboys, I showed the people how, to stop doing, these, when you're trying to decode these games, you always got to look beyond the surface riddles, A lot of people on the Patreon was pointing out how Cowboys in gematria sums to 33, and if they won, they would have became 3-3, and if the Arizona Cardinals would have lost, they would have became 3-3. And of course, today was the game was on the day with 33 numerology. But I told everybody, listen, you have to look beyond that. I pointed out how I was like, think about how the president today is gonna hold a rally in Arizona, in Prescott, Arizona, right? And if you notice the score, they won 38-10, a combined of 48 points, like how Donald Trump sums to 48. But of course, I didn't know this before the game, but I did know that Trump was in Arizona hosting a rally, and I also knew the fact that if the Arizona Cardinals would have won the game, which they did, they would have improved to 4-2, and Arizona in gematria sums to 42, which is always a big number with the Arizona sports teams. From the Cardinals to the other franchises in Arizona, whenever the number 42 shows up, you can bank it. 42 is almost like 33 in New York. Whenever you see a 33 that can play for New York's teams, you can cash in. Most likely it's gonna come through. But if you guys saw the game at the halftime, the score was 21-3, and that's because the reason for that score is not because the Cardinals are a better team. It's simply because these games are rigged and they are scripted around this code of gematria. And if you notice Monday Night Football in gematria, it sums to 213. That's why the score at the halftime was 21-3. It's just that simple. It has nothing to do with what team is better. It doesn't really matter that Dak Prescott wasn't playing today. These games are rigged, and if the script was for the Dallas Cowboys to win, they would have won without Prescott. This is what I'm trying to show you guys in this video. These games are all scripted, and the way they do it is with this numerical code known as gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words, names, and phrases. And this is the website that I use to decode the words and phrases that I decode in my daily decodes. And this stuff is really easy. This is the alphabetic order forwards and the alphabetic order in reverse. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Every letter in the alphabet has a numerical value. A is the first letter. It has a value of 1 forwards. When you reverse A becomes a 26th letter in the alphabet. So in the reverse cipher, A equals 26, right? So you write out Monday Night Football, right? M is the 13th letter, O is the 15th, N is the 14th, D is the 4th, right? A, B, C, D. D is the 4th letter. Add it all up, right? Monday Night Football. It sums to 213. The score at the halftime was 21-3. And this is how you can prove beyond any reasonable doubt that these games are rigged and scripted. I mean, what are the odds of this? What are the odds that Donald Trump is in Prescott, Arizona? The Dallas Cowboys quarterback is Dak Prescott, and his team was playing the Arizona Cardinals the day of his injury. Well, the day that this was his first game that he missed after his fake injury. Because a lot of these players are also faking their injuries as well. And this game was on October 19th, which is a special number because that number always shows up with Donald Trump. Because in Gematria, Donald, there's another cipher known as the Jewish cipher, which is definitely a relevant cipher. And just notice how Donald's is equals 119, and the date was October 19th. And of course, in numerology, the zeros don't count, so October 19th is pretty much 119, right? 10, 19, 111, 119. Those are the digits that matter in the date. Donald is 119, and on 10/19, he has his rally in Prescott, Arizona. And I'm going to play a few seconds of this clip. I want you guys to listen to the numbers that he mentions in his speech. He talks about these numbers, right? He keeps bringing up these numbers, especially the number 56. And if you've been following this work, you know all about the number 56. It's been the number this year. One of the reasons we have... I'll talk about the World Series later. But coronavirus is 56. Society of Jesus. The people probably behind all of these rituals. Society of Jesus comes to 56. And there's a long list of 56s, including Anthony Fauci, Washington, D.C., Black Lives Matter, another big turning point in 2020. Black Lives Matter 56. It has been the number this year. And in this clip, he's going to talk about that number. And there's a reason they're bringing up that number. It's because it's coded. And once you understand what these numbers mean, you're going to see right through what they're talking about, you know. They don't talk directly. There's always coded. Everything these people say is coded. But once you learn the numbers, you already know. So, you know, when I was watching this game, I said, because if you've seen the last score of the Arizona Cardinals, the last touchdown, they missed the field goal and they didn't score the 7th point. And I said, look at that. 48 combined points. Donald Trump is 48. Amazing stuff. Before the game, we also noticed that the Dallas Cowboys head coach, Mike McCarthy, he came into this game with 80 career losses, and he picked up his 81st career loss versus the Cardinals. Cardinals is 81. So think about it. He had 80 losses. So one more gave him 81, and he did it against the perfect team, the team with the 81 gematria. Right? C, the third letter in the alphabet, sums to 3. A is the first letter. R is the 18. D is the 4th, and so on. 3 plus 1 plus 19 plus 4 plus 9 plus 14 plus 1 plus 12 plus 19, it sums to 81. So when I say Cardinals equals 81 in gematria, that's what I mean. So Mike McCarthy picks up his 81st career loss versus the Cardinals. And notice the Seahawks are playing the Cardinals next week. You always want to look at who the team is playing next. And just notice how Seahawks sums to 42, just like Arizona. So they became 4-2 for the season because they're going to be playing the Seahawks in their next game in Arizona with a record of 4-2. And if they lose next week, you know, I usually give out the picks on Patreon. But next week, I do expect the Arizona Cardinals to lose to the Seattle Seahawks and become 4-3 because Seattle Seahawks is 43. So those of you that want to invest in a sports pick, that's a free sports pick for you. Take the Seahawks to win next week. They should definitely win next week and make the Cardinals 4-3. But I'm gonna play a couple of seconds of that Donald Trump rally video. I want you just to listen to the numbers that they talk about. So let's increase the volume here.
And the Washington vultures who got rich bleeding America dry. That's what happened, including Big Pharma. In 2016, you voted to fire this corrupt and decrepit political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first. It's about time. 56%. Did you see this? We're in a pandemic, okay?
The coronavirus
Because
pandemic.
of China. We're in a pandemic.
Because of China.
A poll just came out, Gallup. 50% of the American people in this brand new poll just came
How many
out,
percent?
Gallup poll. A pandemic, okay? Because of China. We're in a pandemic. A poll just came out, Gallup. 56% of the American people in this brand new poll just came out, Gallup poll, say they are better off today than they were 4 years ago under Obama-Biden administration. And it's a record number.
Yeah, it is a record number. You guys have been using it in every single false flag, every single deception. It is a record number. He absolutely right. So, I mean, those of you pretty much that are not new to this work, you know all about the number 56. Washington, D.C. sums to 56. Anthony Fauci sums to 56. Black Lives Matter sums to 56. Coronavirus sums to 56. Society of Jesus sums to 56. And so much more. And what I was talking about the World Series earlier today is I put out a World Series video on Patreon, and I talk about how the Dodgers this year can win the World Series. I mean, I guess I can tell people now, but if you guys would have been on the Patreon, you would have knew that the Dodgers were going to win the World Series weeks and weeks and weeks ahead before the World Series even started. Because I spoke about the number 56 in that video, and if the Dodgers, who are in the World Series this year, if they win the World Series, they will win 56 games this season. The number. And just think about how, the Miami Heat were in the NBA Finals this year. Miami Heat sums to 56. But, yeah, so I do expect the Dodgers to win the World Series and win 56 games and defeat the Tampa Bay Rays. So they won 43 games, and they need 13, I guess. We just look at Dave Roberts' stats. Oh, man. These games are so rigged. All these games are rigged. All of them. So just notice how the Dodgers have won 9 games in the playoffs. They won 43 games during the regular season. I mean, do the math. That's 52 games. They win 4 more. They will win 56 games this season. 56. Coronavirus is 56. And, of course, the MLB season was suspended because of the coronavirus. And just notice how coronavirus is also 142. And one of the things that I noticed, I was the Dodgers' opponent was a little bit tricky. It could have easily been the Astros, but there was also a narrative for the Tampa Bay Rays. Dave Roberts was born May 31st. Because the other side of this code is also date numerology and date spans. You guys notice how the World Series starts 142 days after his birthday? Coronavirus sums to 142. 142, right? And then, so the World Series starts 142 days after his birthday. His team, the Dodgers, can win 56 games if they win the World Series. And guess, just their opponent are the Tampa Bay Rays, which also sums to 142. So he's playing the Tampa Bay Rays 142 days after his birthday, which is today. Today the World Series starts. Later on, I guess it's like 7 o'clock. I'm not sure at the time. But, Yeah, so today the game starts at let's just see, at 8:09. Right. So he's playing the Tampa Bay Rays, with some so 142 days after his birthday, and that's the coronavirus number. And of course, the team can win 56 games. So that was one of the things that I noticed for the Tampa Bay Rays. But there was also another narrative for the Houston Astros, but that didn't come through. So, but this is the Patreon pick I gave out today on October 19th. Put this pick out around 2:20 p.m. I said Arizona Cardinals to win money line. They were slight underdogs coming into this game. I said they can improve to 4-2 for the season. Arizona's 42. If they lose next week, they become 4-3 versus the Seattle Seahawks with some 43. Seahawks is 42. They'll play the Seahawks with a record of 4-2. Of course, Arizona's 4-2. And then I pointed out how Mike McCarthy could pick up his 81st loss of his career because Cardinals, a team who he was playing, some say 81 in Gematria. And, just for those of you that think that this is just some kooky conspiracy stuff, I mean, you heard what Donald Trump just said, right? He kept talking about the number 56. I mean, how come? 56%. Where did he get that number from? And, if you know what that number means and how often it's showing up this year, then you know exactly that everything he's saying is just BS. It's ball bullshit. Because, we know what that number means. It's the Society of Jesus. That's who he's referring to. So just want to say congratulations to the people on Patreon who went with the pick. And those of you that are new here, just know that politics, sports, your news, it's all interrelated. A lot of times if you're trying to learn how to decode these games, you also want to pay attention to what's going on in the news, especially with your current president. A lot of times what your president is doing, it's going to determine the outcome of these rigged sports games. I remember when we decoded the Chase Briscoe race. Let's see if I can pull up that blog post. So Chase Briscoe, the NASCAR driver, his wife had a miscarriage a couple of days before the rigged NASCAR race, which he won, which we predicted and made a lot of money off. But notice he lost his unborn baby with some 156. The race was in Darlington with some 156. And the race was 156 days after his birthday. But one of the things we noticed about this Chase Briscoe story is that the same day of the race, Donald Trump was at the Ford facility the same day as the race. And then the NASCAR driver that drives the car for Ford, he wins the rigged race. The NASCAR number 98, which is funny because the day of this race, what was it, 520 or 519? What was this race? 519, I guess it was. I think 519 is the 98th prime number. What's the 98th prime? Okay, so I guess it was on 520. Okay, I now I know what it is. So the day of the race was on 521, but his wife had the miscarriage a couple of days before the race on 519. So his unborn baby died 156 days after his birthday, but the race came 158 days after his birthday, which is the Freemasonry number. And on 521, the car number 98 won the race because 521 is the 98th prime number. So fucking rigged, man. And then the race was in Darlington Raceway with something 98. Toyota 200, the name of the race, something 98. And of course the date 521, the 98th prime. And that's how all this stuff is rigged this way. Everything. So you always want to pay attention to what the president is doing, because it's always connected. Let's see if I can pull up. Look at this. So this was on 521. Right? President Trump at the Ford plant the same day as the race, and that was the day that he didn't want to wear the coronavirus mask in public. Blah blah blah. Donald Trump, the guy that got coronavirus, and then 2 days later he was at the hospital. I mean, if you're able, and this is why I don't understand, like they calling this a pandemic, and this is how they mock the people every day. Okay, so this is a pandemic, right? So you catch coronavirus, but yet you're out the hospital in 2 days, which means that this illness or this disease or this, I don't know, whatever they call it, I guess it's not that dangerous if you're able to recover in 2 days. I mean, even the flu takes longer than 2 days. I mean, have you guys ever had the flu? I mean, last time I had the flu, I was in bed for like 7 days straight. So how is it that the coronavirus is more deadlier than the flu? Meanwhile, you're able to recover from the virus in a couple of days. Doesn't make any sense. Probably because it's been a hoax from the beginning. And these people know it because they tell us with these numbers, right? 56%.
Did you see this?
Yeah, I did see that. And we're going to leave it right there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. There's nothing else I should cover. I mean, there was another story, but I'll just make a blog post about it. If you guys are not familiar with my blog, it's the blog that I use in every video, simpletruthtelevision.blogspot.com. A lot of the stuff that I don't make videos for, I make blog posts for. Like how the rapper Fetty Wap, his brother, died a couple of days ago on the 16th, 131 days after his birthday, and his full name, Fetty Wap's full name, sums to 131. So he loses his twin brother 131 days after his birthday. And then we had this story, Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards, the shooting guard. He wants, I guess they're talking about trading him for the Lakers. And those of you that have been following me for a while, I spoke about this a long time ago. I thought it was going to happen this year, but I guess they're going to make it happen in 2021. I knew that this was going to happen sooner or later because of the gematria of LeBron James and Bradley Beal. They have this connection with 42 and 66, like how Lakers is 42 and 66. And then, they come out with this article that his wife reacts to the Lakers and Wizards possible trade idea. This story came out on October 15th, 109 days after Bradley Beal's birthday. And Los Angeles is 109. So I do expect Bradley Beal to eventually join the Lakers. So those of you that want to invest in a future pick, I guess, try to put in a future pick, a bet for the Lakers to win the championship now before this happens. Because the minute this happens, the Lakers are going to be massive favorites to win the championship. So you might want to catch the line now. And, so there's a bunch of other stories that I just made blog posts for. This one's, oh my God. So this rapper, Saint Dog, he died at the age of 44 on a day with 44 numerology. And his rapper name sums to 44, like kill and execution. And then he died at the age of 44, of course. On a Wednesday. I mean, the guy died on a Wednesday. Wednesday is 44. So, those of you new here, that's the other sick part about this. That not only are the games rigged, not only are the games connected to the politics and the news, but a lot of times, well, most times, these same celebrities who are fulfilling these scripts are murdered by the same code that they lived by. That's the other sick part about this. And just notice how the headline, they emphasize a true underground legend. It sums to 116. Just like execution. Execution is 116 and 44. And then he died right before the 116th World Series. Oh boy. Yep. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and just want to say hello to everybody. Yeah, 1738. The word kills 17 and murders 38. That's a good point. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, the word Negro is 32 as well. Black Lives Matter 56. Yep. And speaking of Black Lives Matter, just notice how that connects to the Dodgers, right? Because Jackie Robinson and we had the Chadwick Boseman died this year. The man who died on Jackie Robinson Day at the age of 42, supposedly, then they changed it to 43. So if you guys, okay, so somebody asked him the call in number. Yeah, so I guess you guys can call in. Got a couple of more minutes to spare. Turn my phone on. So if you want to call up, the number is 646-986-0958. Okay, so just give it a few more seconds so the phone can turn on. So for those of you that are interested in the sports picks every single day, just go to the comment section. A lot of you leave comments like who you got for the World Series. Who you got? I mean, I've said this so many times. I don't put out sports picks on YouTube anymore. Very rarely do I do. All the stuff goes on Patreon. I'm trying to build something, and that's the only way I'm gonna be able to do it. So the phone line is open if you guys want to call up. The number is 646-986-0958. Otherwise, I guess we can end it there. I guess nobody wants to call in. So you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys next time.